What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We're the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and with me, as always, is Chris the Statsman Gorman. Hey. Hey, but stats, Chris.
Hey. I got a stat. OG Anunoby. He's been with the Knicks for 8 games now, but after the first 5, he's the first and only player in NBA history to have a plus minus above 100. So he's been pretty solid for
He
the
has
New York
been
Knickerbockers.
cooking. A great trade. And we'll be talking about a lot of trades. But first, he sees red and bleeds Bulls. It's the lawn boss, Joe McCroskey. Get that joke.
Yes, I see bulls and I bleed red.
There it is.
I'm human.
He is human. He's decked out in his bull stuff tonight. Loving it. Loving the fit. Loving the fit. No Adam tonight. He is in the background cleaning this mess up later. So thank you. We got a fun show for you guys tonight. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the, what do we call this? Is this a huge Pascal Siakam trade?
The long overdue.
The long overdue Pascal Siakam trade from Toronto to Indy. So that'll be good to talk about. We're going to do some blind reacts. Joey's got some things for me and Chris to react to. And then we have a coach's challenge to finish out the night. So, boys, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Came across the wire pretty quickly this afternoon. Pascal Siakam traded to the Indianapolis Pacers. Chris, you got the details on the trade?
I don't have them in front of me, but top of mind, 3 first-round picks go to Toronto, along with Bruce Brown, which is kind of a bummer. But he hasn't really, anyways.
Yeah.
But then randomly, the Pelicans are involved. I don't know if you noticed, there's a sneaky 3-teamer. Kyra Lewis Jr. is going from the Pelicans to Toronto. And I think Indiana sent a 2nd-round pick to New Orleans. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah,
I don't know.
A little gray there on what happened there.
Big piece, Bruce Brown, 3 picks, right?
Yeah. Bruce Brown.
Yeah. Sorry, let's just focus on that.
Just focus on the main stuff that some people know about. Joey, what's your thoughts on the trade? Do you like it for either side in particular? People were saying it's kind of long overdue almost. People were waiting on this one.
Yeah, I think it's long overdue. I think the 3 first-round picks seem like a lot, but I think they probably could have got more if they would have traded Pascal probably last year's deadline or over the summer.
Yeah.
He has not been, terribly spectacular this year. The Raptors have been very underwhelming. So, from their side, I think they got what they could get at this juncture of the plan with him. I think overall, though, looking at Toronto, they clearly decided that the team was Scotty Barnes' team, last season, and it had been kind of trending that way. Siakam's usage was the number one on the team, but overall it was kind of always geared towards Scotty Barnes, and they made those trades, or made the trade for OG, and got Barrett and quickly in. So they kind of got the necessary role players to go along with it. So Siakam at this point became kind of a necessary piece to let go. Granted, he was also going to be a free agent at the end of this season, and it was unlikely that they were going to retain him. So I think the Raptors did pretty good in it. Curious to see if it translates to anything better for them. I think they're probably going to ride out this season like where they are, and then see what they can find maybe in the offseason as a couple little tweak pieces here and there. But from Indiana's standpoint, it's more interesting, I think, from their side, because you pair Siakam with Halliburton, which that 2-man game should be really good.
Yeah.
Siakam, though, seems to be best when he's when he has the ball in his hands and he's creating, not necessarily like a great spot up kind of shooter. Granted, the Pacers already have that in Buddy Hield. They've already got kind of that guy. Yeah. But I'm curious to see kind of how it all flows. I think Siakam's defense will be really useful to the Pacers since they basically have none of that. And if he can keep up kind of his scoring punch, I think it'll be good. Most interesting, I think, will be though what happens with Halliburton if he really becomes like a Chris Paul-esque type point guard where it's really about running the offense and all about the assist, and he kind of lets his point totals kind of run down with the addition of a guy who scores a lot and likes to have the ball in his hands a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely like it for Indiana. I think it was a bold move. We were talking a little bit before we hopped on air here. We all kind of thought it was a little bit of a roll of the dice. He's right now unsigned for or for the max contract, and that's most likely what they'll offer him in the offseason. Whether he stays in Indy or decides to go somewhere is up for debate. I wonder if this kind of puts them into more of a mix for that number 4 seed right now in the Eastern Conference. It's definitely shaken out. Like there's a clear top 3 in Boston, Milwaukee, and Philly. Who's that 4th team up behind them? I know the Knicks have been playing well since obviously the OG acquisition, but now can the Pacers maybe sneak in there, battle them out? That should be interesting. I definitely think matchup wise, they're an interesting playoff team. I mean, they've sort of had the Bucks number here at least in the regular season, so it would be interesting to see if they got matched up with them early in the second round or something like that. Certainly would be a very interesting series. They could possibly make like a conference finals run, but other than that, I don't know how much else this really does. I don't think it puts him into contention for anything. But it's nice. He's a champion, a veteran player with a younger player like Halliburton should be interesting. Chris, what were your thoughts on the trade?
It's fine. I think you kind of summed it up nicely there at the end there, Titus, where it's like, yeah, the Pacers get a little bit better, but do they actually put them over the top?
Yeah.
I think as Halliburton's like the new Jokic, where if you just whoever you want to pair with him, I think you can make a case.
Yeah,
this is a solid pairing.
He's gonna pair well with Halliburton.
X and Halliburton, that could work really well. Yeah,
Vooch and Halliburton.
that could be fantastic.
That'd be great. Pick and pop there with Halliburton.
So it's a fine trade. Siakam, I think it's more about they needed some defense.
Yeah,
Bruce Brown was assigning to try to get them a defensive identity. It didn't. It looks like it hasn't worked out, and they moved off of him. Siakam's So we'll just wait and see. It is a bold move, but yeah.
Do you think Bruce Brown gets rerouted somewhere? Because I don't see him. I guess maybe a role player in Toronto, but they don't really seem to need that right now.
So I would think normally yes, but Toronto.
Yeah, right. There's like
weird, right? They have Thad Young still on that roster. That we'll see. Maybe they'll. Yeah, they should. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the teams, I'd be calling right now. Like, hey, are you guys doing anything with that guy? Let's go.
Yeah,
send him over.
Yeah, send him over. Yeah, definitely interesting. We'll see how it shakes it up. Go ahead, Joy.
Is there ceiling now? The Pacers ceiling like a first round playoff series win?
Yeah, if they win, if they match up to the Bucks, that has to happen, right? What we can
that has to happen.
How the NBA will fix their games to make sure that that's the series that takes place. They could win that. I don't think they will, but I think
I think their expectation maybe should be a first round playoff win. I don't know if that's, but I think like to me, honestly, I think the ceiling is like a second round, or I mean, conference finals feels like a bit of a reach, but I just feel like if you get the right matchup, that team could be interesting to me. I would definitely be paying attention to them in the playoffs, but I don't know if that's truly a ceiling. But I think you're about right there with a first round win or a second round appearance.
Yeah, because they would, if they land at like 4, 5, 6, they're likely playing like Miami or New York, probably.
Yeah,
in the middle there, or Philly. Like one of those 3 teams is probably where they're going to land. Because even Philly, I think they're getting bounced real fast.
Yeah,
Miami or the Knicks, I think those are winnable matchups.
Yeah, and I'm certainly thinking a Bucks Indy matchup is super interesting too. So, I mean, I wouldn't predict them to win that series, but I'd be curious after what happened to the Bucks last year. So
that's a good point.
I mean, it's just so weird. I think it could be a weird matchup for somebody.
Yeah, it's a lot of offense. It's a lot of scoring.
Yeah, a lot of scoring.
A lot of scoring.
They earn their stripes in the in the IST.
That's right. They got some experience in big time games now.
Playing for a title. All right. Well, we'll definitely see what happens going forward here. So
yeah, the first big piece down. I mean, the first big game this season.
Last question. I kind of want to throw at you guys with this. Both teams, Indiana and New York, are 23-17 currently. Who finishes with a better record after both these trades?
Indiana.
I'm going to say New York. I want to say Indiana. My heart tells me Indiana, but I just feel like New York's been steady all year.
I think it's New York.
Just
because Jalen Brunson.
It's a good
Joey's guy right there.
There's my guy.
He wanted for the Bulls. And
I want him.
Bulls didn't listen.
They didn't listen.
They never do.
They never do. Well, we're all about to listen to you, Joey, as you give us some blind rankings to do. He's got a set of rankings for Chris, and then I'll go last. So go ahead, set this up, Joey.
Yeah, I'd been thinking about this for like a week, wanting to do one of these, and we did one once before. Yeah. I think we've all kind of taken turns throwing these at each other. So kind of want to take a different approach, and we usually just go like names.
Yeah.
And I think we all have certain connotations associated with certain players. And I wanted to kind of do it more on like a true blind thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys 5 stats. So it's points, rebounds, assists, field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage. You're going to rank the player 1 through 5, 1 being your favorite or best, and then 5 being the worst. And then once you assign out where these players are, then I will tell you their names, and you'll see kind of how you think of them without knowing who it is. So,
all right, this is points, rebounds, assists,
field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage.
Field goal percentage. I'm just gonna jot this down so I'm ready. All right.
So Chris is going first. His is surrounding guards, point guards, shooting guards. Chris, your first player. This is career stats because these guys are all kind of relatively tenured in the association. Okay. Your first player, 17.1 points, 2.8 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 54.4% from the field, and a 40.5% from the 3-point line.
Pretty good. Shooting percentages there.
Okay. And so I'm supposed to rank where would he fit in this?
Yeah.
Can I ask, is he still playing?
Yes, these are all active. These are all active players.
Okay.
So got a blind slot him in 1 through 5.
Oh, I'll put him 4.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I like that.
That's a 4. Okay. Your next one is a 19.9 points, 6.3 rebounds, 7.4 assists, 51.3 from the field, and a 37.7% from the 3-point line.
This is a guard?
That is correct.
Like 7.4 assists, 6 rebounds, but under 20 points.
Mm-hmm. Just under.
Yes, 3. I'll put him 3rd.
Okay.
Good pick. I'm with you so far. I'm with you so far, Chris. I think I might have had him flipped initially, but that's good.
All right. Next one we'll throw at you. 22.4 points, 5.1 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 51.7 from the field, and 35.6 from 3-point land.
All right, so he's averaging more points, fewer ribs and assists, slightly same field goal, 3-point percentage as the 3 guy. I have to put him 2. Yeah, he's got to be number 2.
Okay, number 2. All right, next we'll go 22.2 points, 4.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 53% from the floor, but a measly 32.6% from the 3-point line.
This is a guard? I don't know why I didn't have to ask that again, but
got all guards.
It's a measly 3-point percentage.
Is this a guard?
I guess he's 5th. He's got to be 5th, even though he's averaging 22. Those are empty stats.
All right, that's 5. And then your last one. This is going to be your number 1 person.
Be good. He's averaging 30 points. This guy.
Yeah.
Tell me.
18.7 points.
Damn it.
2.6 rebounds. 6.7 assists.
Yeah.
52.2 from the field and 38.4 from the 3-point line.
All right, I feel okay about that. This is still not great.
That was bad.
That was a struggle.
That was a bad one.
All right, you want me to go 5 through 1 for you, or 1 through 5?
Yeah.
5
through 1. Yeah, 5-3-1. Yeah.
All right. Number 5, you put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, I knew it was Shai.
That's ridiculous. Wait, 22 point career? This is career?
22-2. Yep. 4.7 rebounds.
Why. Oh,
4.7
that's.
assists.
I almost said it. I almost said that
4.2
Shai. I almost said that Shai.
Oh, he's averaging like 32 now.
Yeah.
So
But you know what? That's some early seasons in the mix there.
yeah.
Yep. Number 4, you put Tyrese Maxey. 17.1 points, 2.8 assists, 3.9 rebounds, 54.4, and 40.5. Number 3, you put LaMelo Ball. This is the one that kind of threw you off there. So 19.9 points, 6.3 rebounds, 7.4 assists. Kind of the wild card there with the high rebounds and assists.
Yeah.
But low on the point totals. Number 2, you put Anthony Edwards.
Okay. I'm happy that I had him.
4 points, 5.1 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 51 and 35.6. And then number 1, you put Darius Garland.
Ooh. In hindsight, I would have had Edwards blindly ranked first.
Had a Shai?
In career stats, like if I didn't know who the players were still.
Okay, so now you're just
I'm just looking at it and I'm like, oh yeah, I would just because of 3-point percentage, really.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty much the same.
I'm surprised that Maxey didn't get higher based on the 54.4 from the field and 40.5 from 3-point.
I didn't know what to expect. The 40 was high, and I'm like, I didn't think he'd be the only 40 in the group because they're guards.
Yeah.
Right? Is this guards? No.
Yes.
But no.
Yes, Chris.
Is this guards? Are they guards here?
Guards? Yeah. That was interesting. Okay, well, shit. All right.
Here, Seth.
Garland's my new favorite player.
Garland is your new favorite player. All right, Titus, you ready?
I am ready. So this is well, go ahead. What are you gonna do for me?
So you are looking at Zach Lavine trade targets. And
okay,
I chose this one for you because I feel like it's been pretty easy for you to be on board with a lot of ideas, right?
Yeah.
So kind of wanted to mix it up, right? And see. I kind of looked. I didn't just come up with these guys. I looked in a handful of articles, kind of looked at rumors that have been floating around from like reputable people, and tried to pick 5 guys that have come up, a handful of times in articles and conversation. Okay.
Okay. Are you going to give me Zach's stats for reference or no?
Do you want them first or second, or first or now or at the end?
Let's do it at the end.
Okay. All right. Your first one. We'll go 22.7 points, 5.7 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 44% from the floor, and 41.1 from the field. And yours are season. Yours are this current season.
Okay, so this is for this season.
Yep.
44 from the field and 41.
Yep.
Now there's no these are just trade people, so there's no position really.
Correct.
All right. 22-7, 5-7, 4-4, 44%, and 41%. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna say 2. I want to put it number 1, but because those are solid stats, but I'm gonna give myself some room.
Okay. All right. Number 2 option: 9.9 points,
9.9,
3.7 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 42.9 from the field, and 34.5 from 3-point land.
Damn.
Why?
Who would they be trading for? That's 9 points.
That's even like remotely worth.
Yeah, and obviously there'd be more in the package, but this was like the number one. Like this is the main piece of it, I guess you would say.
He must be a defensive guy.
I got to go 5 here. I think that's probably. This feels like a trap, but I got to go 5.
Okay.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. All right.
All right, next one. 20.8 points, 4.8 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 46.7% field goal, and 38.6 3-point.
Joey, these are bad players. Who are we trading for here?
Let me put this person at 3.
Okay.
I got to gamble that I'm gambling there's somebody better right now, but I think I'm going to have to pull the trigger here for a number 1.
This is the market, guys, that is available based on the experts, which is...
We'll definitely talk about this here in a little bit.
Kind of the sad reality we're looking at. But all right, that's number 3. Next one, we'll say 13.6 points, 4.3 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 51.3 from the field, 30.7 from 3-point land.
It's like Taylor Horton Tucker or something. This is garbage.
Let's slot that person in at number 4. That player.
4.
I feel like I missed my window to put that player 1 at number 1. That should have been the move, I think.
Right.
Number 1.
Let's go back.
Here you are, down to the last one. 11.8 points, 3.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 49% from the field, and 37% from 3-point land.
Wow. Well, I didn't do very good there.
All right. So
here.
For reference, Zach Lavine's stat line this season: 20 points, 5.3 rebounds, 4 assists, 45.3 from the field, and 34.9 from 3-point land.
Damn, he's bad too.
Missed 17 games in there, right? So there's a little bit of a on the point side, but everything else, yes, not ideal. All right, your number 5 assigned player, Kevin Huerter. I think you nailed that one. That's a good one. So he was the 9.9, 3.7, 2.5, and 42.9. So
yeah,
that was I think it was a good one.
That was good.
Number 4, Jonathan Kuminga.
Okay.
15.6, 4.3, 1.5, 51.3, and 30.7. Number 3 was our second highest point scorer. That was DeJounte Murray.
Ooh.
Buddy for buddy here. 20.8 points, 4.8 rebounds and assists, 46.7 field goal, and 38.6 from 3-point land. Number 2, the guy you thought you should have put number 1. I think you're probably going to agree with that. Tyler Hero.
Yeah, okay.
22.7, 5.7 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 44 from the field, and 41.1 from 3-point land.
Well, unless this is Austin Reeves here.
And your number 1 is a Laker. It is not Austin Reeves.
Oh, Rui.
It's Rui. It's Rui Hachimura. Yeah. 11.8 points, 3.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 49 from the field, and 37 from 3-point land.
Damn, now that I'm looking at this, I feel like I put it in, I randomly got it in the order that it's probably most likely to happen, with like the Lakers at 1, Miami at 2, all right, Atlanta at 3, Warriors at 4, and then Kings at 5. Like I feel like the likelihood's there.
Yeah. I was curious to see based on the players. So I think if I named those players, you might have done it slightly different right off the bat.
I think, all right, if you would have named the players, so the first guy that came out was Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have put him 1 or 2. Then the second guy you said was Kevin Huerta. I would have probably gone number 5. DeJounte Murray. I think I probably, if it would have came out in the same order, I think I would have just about blind ranked them that way too.
Yep. That seems like a paper trade, like you're trading the same player for the same player almost.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
Kuminga was 4th, and then Rui was my last one. I think. Yeah. It's bleak, guys. The trade market is bleak for him.
Well, we did want to talk about that trade market. Joe, you have a coach's challenge for us. Go ahead.
I do have a coach's challenge, and it's around Zach Lavine, so it kind of feeds off that last topic.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a hot commodity, right? Since we've last done a pod, he's been back for 6 games now after missing, I think, 16 or 17 with the foot injury. Yeah. The rumors were hot when they were losing. He went out. They played pretty good. Then they got kind of bad. Rumors got hot again. And now since he's been back, the rumors have kind of quieted down a bit, I would say.
Yeah.
You haven't heard as much floating around about him being disgruntled and whatnot. So I just want to throw some numbers at you guys first, and then I'll make my challenge. All right. So pre-injury, he was averaging 21 points, 4.9 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 44% from the field, 33 from 3-point land, and was a total plus minus a minus 98. In the 6th game is back since injury. He's averaging 16.8 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5.7 assists. Field goal is at 49.3, and 3-point is at 39.5, and he's a plus 10.
All right, he's been up since he's been back.
So all the stat categories have jumped, right? Rebounds are up almost 2, assists are up just over 2, field goal percentage is up 5%, 3-point is up 6. Points, though, down 4.2.
Yeah.
So the coach's challenge is Zach Lavine has hurt his trade status, trade market, trade value by kind of going away from being a pure scorer and becoming more of a role player. And I say that because as we kind of talked through, right, with the last segment, is the teams that would probably likely be looking to trade for Zach would be looking for somebody to inject scoring and be willing to sacrifice kind of everything else. And the Bulls would be much more interested in trading him when he's only providing scoring. If he's providing like a 17 points a game, but 6.5 rebounds and 6 assists, to me, that's a stat line and a player that the Bulls would look at and be like, well, hey, he's changed his game to fit the mold that kind of developed while he was out. And we're going to keep him, and we're going to kind of keep running it back. So I think it's a double-ended, right? He's hurt his value to the market because the teams that would want him want the scoring. And he's hurt his value, in a fan's world to the Bulls, because the Bulls are going to be more likely to keep him now that he's showing a more well-rounded game than just scoring.
You want to go first, Chris?
What's the question? The
question is, Zach Lavine hurt his trade value by becoming a better.
That's right.
You're going to overturn that, or are you going to
overturn it? No, I don't think. I think the key thing is that nobody's forgotten how much of a scorer Zach Lavine is. I think if anything, if he can prove to actually be a part of an offense and actually care a little bit, it could only help. The Bulls just need to keep winning. 2 of those 6 games that they've played are against the Hornets, so glad they were able to win those.
Tough matchups.
Tough ones there. But like Lavine's got like the offensive version of what Andrew Wiggins is, where it's like he's got all this talent, and we don't really know if he really cares
great comparison.
about playing. And we're seeing it with Wiggins right now with this season, right, in Golden State. You might have other things going on, but anyways, no, I think if he can prove to be a well-rounded player, that's great. No one's doubting his talent and ability. They're doubting his effort, I think. So,
Interesting. I'm also gonna overturn this challenge. Slightly different reason though. I don't think he can hurt his trade value, because I feel, and I think this is probably one of the reasons why the Bulls haven't made a trade yet. The market for him is so small already that there's really it's like 3 teams. It's like the Lakers, Miami, and like maybe the Kings, right? That's the other team that's really kind of in the mix for it. You need a team that wants to make a win now move, quote unquote, win now move, but they really can only go get like a third option, and that would be Zach. You know what I mean? Like if he goes to the Kings, he's behind Sabonis and Fox. Goes to LA, he's behind LeBron, AD. Goes to Miami, he's behind Bam and Butler. So like those are like the kind of situations a team is actually going to trade for him, because no like young team wants to trade for him and then make him the centerpiece. There's no team that thinks he's a number 1 that can take him over the top. So it's only this small of a market anyway. So like to me, this sort of run he's had of playing, and I think he is kind of auditioning a little bit. It doesn't sound like that's kind of what I've heard, listening to some other podcasts and stuff. I think that should be a plus for him. Like Chris said, shows he can kind of lock in when he needs to and maybe defer a little bit, because ultimately wherever he's going, he is a third piece if he goes. You know what I mean? He's not going somewhere to be the savior, to be the hero. He's going somewhere to be a role guy, essentially. A guy that's coming in to kind of, like you said, be an offensive spark plug, get some shots up from the 3-point range, which he's, brought that percentage up to show he's a great, still a solid 3-point shooter. So that's good. But I just think the market's too small for him to really be able to do anything positive or negative for it. I don't think he could even really improve his market, because I don't think there's anybody that's going to look at a 1-month sample of Zach Lavine and go, oh wow, this is the piece we need. I think it's those 3-4 teams that are really looking for him, and if they can't make something happen with the Bulls, then I think the Bulls are going to keep him.
Interesting. So you're saying basically like his market is already so small that it doesn't matter what he does. Like if he has the pre-injury line or the post-injury line, like he's he's still viewed, and Chris, you kind of said the same thing, right?
Yeah.
He's still viewed as the same player regardless of what he does, because he does go through these stretches of both sides of it. And it's just a matter of which one are you getting, and that's why nobody's gonna offer the farm for somebody who the Bulls obviously view as a farm type player.
Because I just think like those teams that can trade for him are sort of strapped for assets anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Lakers don't want to give up any players. Miami doesn't want to really like. I think if Jaquez hadn't hit for them, like maybe they're a little bit more desperate, and maybe they do give something up. I know like Hero's definitely been somebody they've been rumored for, but like you pointed out those stats for Hero, it's almost like they'd be trading guy for guy there with Hero stats. So like, what's the why shake it up in their perspective? Yeah, what's the upside for them? So I just think it's kind of interesting, and I think it's maybe why some of the chatter has died down. Is I wonder if there's teams that are going, all right, yeah, but like we're not giving, like you said, if the Bulls are like, especially after this trade with Siakam, now are they going to be going, hey, it's 3 firsts, or we're not talking? You know what I'm saying?
I do feel like that's probably exactly what they're going to say, because I feel like they view Siakam and Zach as the same tier type player.
Yeah.
And probably on paper, that's probably accurate.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's not crazy.
They're about the same. And even those picks that the Pacers gave up, I don't think they were terrible. I think they're 2 in next year's draft, if I'm not mistaken.
One had like 4 stipulations. It's like it has to be the worst in these 4 teams picks.
Yeah, one's like coming from like other teams stuff too.
Yeah.
So they could probably do something like that where they got a couple of picks and they're coming from, in the low 20s, like that kind of deal. And maybe they can squeeze that out for Zach, but
overturned. I was just curious. It was just kind of a thought I was watching, when I was listening to the games when I was on vacation, and
so you were listening to the games?
Yeah. I was listening to the games on the radio, or whatever, ESPN 1000, 670 Score, whatever it is. It's good times.
You know what I will say though, I think if you had framed it a little bit differently, I would have upheld it if you said it as from the Bulls' perspective. Because that's one thing that really you said that really made sense to me. I'm like, I think the Bulls are probably going, all right, Zach is back, he's locked in, no need to trade this guy.
Yeah,
I could see that in a heartbeat.
Any excuse for the front office not have to do anything.
Exactly right.
Number 9 seed, here we come.
Right.
It's kind of funny with this team. It was like whatever night, it was like last Wednesday or Thursday, whatever game, and Chris messaged and was like, man, I really love watching DeMar just like dribble out 14 seconds of the shot clock and then take a contested 2 when they have a chance to like win the game, and everybody else has been shooting great, everybody's had a hot hand, and then it's just like the game died. And it's like we probably talked about that in like November, and then we went on to like talking about Zach's struggles and being bad, and then it was like, okay, Kobe White's been really good, and then it was like, all right, Kobe White's not so great anymore, all right, Zach's getting a little better, oh wait, DeMar's back to dribbling out shot clocks and doing.
So we have like 3 of the same player, at different levels, but
they just take turns being ridiculous.
It's a tough watch, tough hang.
Tough hang, man. Every time they bring you in, they push you right back out.
Yeah. But I will say I am getting a little bit excited for a potential winner take all 9-10 matchup. This is like, honestly, my Bulls fandom is completely hanging on that thread. I'm like, if you're gonna do this, you're not gonna make any trades, you're not gonna build the team, you better get the 9th seed, because
you want to go to that game.
At least I can go to that game and I can go have a great time. And Joey, obviously, I'll be trying to get you to come with me.
Go see Bulls Nets. Bulls Nets at the UC.
They could beat Brooklyn. Yeah,
Bulls Nets at the UC. The crowd going crazy. It'd be fun.
But then they'll play Orlando, and then we'll be reminded again about that Vooch trade, and Orlando would kick their butt. And
it'll be rough. But you know what? That one night,
for one night.
We could all be Patrick Beverly. Okay.
Yep. I'd be full Pat Bev, standing on my seat, tears running down my cheek.
Waving my Zach Lavine jersey.
We did it.
That was a great game. I hate that people hate that game so much.
Well, see, it's funny because you were there, and this is exactly what I'm looking for. I want the game that everybody hates. Like, they're laughing at me, like, "Why were you so into it?" I'm like, "No, you weren't there, man. I was there."
It was amazing. Yeah,
that's what I want. I want that experience, Chris, and I need the Bulls to give it to me.
Well, we'll see. What do you guys put like a likelihood percentage that Zach Lavine is traded in the next, 2.5, 3 weeks here.
Yeah,
I mean, we're
February 8th. I think it's low.
Like 10%, to be honest, at this point.
10%.
I mean,
mid-November, what were you like in season tournament time? What
40,
40, 50?
Maybe 50, sniffing 50.
Flip a coin.
I honestly thought he can get traded to Detroit, just to put some life into that team. But I don't think either of those front offices are bold enough to make that kind of deal.
Yeah. But that's another team that could sneak in. Like a Detroit's a team that could maybe go, hey, we need to start winning something. Let's get somebody.
I feel like they've mailed it in and said we need to
I
keep losing and we need to just try and get lucky.
Yeah.
And this team is so fucking such a dumb team.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's 10%. I think 10% is probably right.
That's probably right.
I think it's the right call.
I
don't know if I'll blame them now because like I don't know. Like we went through with your ranking styles, like none of those guys excite me. Like you're not really doing anything different.
No, and the Bulls are not gonna do what they need to do, which is trade everybody. So
right, it's got to be all or nothing. You can't just trade one guy for one guy and continue to be the same team.
Yeah. So it'll be a 9th seed, hopefully. So
they can overtake Orlando for that 8th seed.
But see, then we don't get the home game, and then what's the point of that? And then I'm even more pissed. See, that would actually piss me off more because then it would be an away game, and they would lose to the 7th seed, and I'd be like, wow, great.
Yeah, but then they would have a chance to play they'd have a chance to play another game, right?
I guess that's true.
No, they'd be they have a chance to play another game.
Yeah, they would play the winner of the 8-9,
and that would be a home game.
9-10. That would be a home game. Okay, that's. Maybe then I get 2 cracked, but I don't know.
That would be winner take all then for sure.
That would be winner take all. Okay, then that's the game we probably need. We probably need an 8th seed.
Because they're both
so that way they could lose and then have to winner take all to get into the playoffs, and then we can stand on table.
We can go in with super low expectations because they already lost one game, expecting the worst, and then we can just be absolutely elated when they give us the best.
Yeah. Because even if they win, if they were a 9th seed and they win, they got to go win one more game to get into the playoffs.
Correct.
Actual playoffs. Okay. So you're right.
They'd have to beat Orlando eventually.
8th seed is what we want. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. All right. I'm in now. Let's go for 8.
We got Titus back. He's a Bulls fan again. Only for the 8th seed.
Well, that is it for us tonight. Follow us on social media at the Box Out Boys. Slide in those DMs. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on YouTube and Spotify. We very much appreciate that. So until next time, Box Out!